So there you heard Israel denying that it fired on the hospital, the Al-Shifa hospital. It says that there was an encounter near the hospital, around the hospital. There was an encounter with the Hamas terrorists, but there was no firing on the hospital. There is no siege at the hospital. That is what the IDF has said, that they have cooperated with the hospital authorities. They've contacted the authorities for the safe evacuation of children, of those who are injured, of the patients. Hospital, remember, had earlier warned of a collapse as Israeli troops were near the Al-Shifa hospital. It's one of the biggest hospitals in Gaza Strip. My colleague Gursimran is now joining us live on the broadcast for more. Gursimran, all right, in fact, he will be coming live, we are told, in a short while from now. But let's take a report that has been filed by Gursimran from near the Gaza border.
मैं लेबनान बॉर्डर पर हूँ। ये शहर है और यहाँ पर शहर के बीच में टैंक्स को प्लांट किया जा रहा है और इन्हें छिपाया जा रहा है ताकि अगर हिजबुल्लाह के आतंकवादी वहाँ पर आएँ तो उनसे मुकाबला हो सके। मेरे कैमरा पर्सन सुरेंद्र शाह आपको जो तस्वीरें अब दिखाने जाएंगे वो देखकर आप हैरान हो जाएंगे, क्योंकि आपने कभी भी नहीं देखा होगा कि रिहायशी इलाके में, शहर के बीच में टैंक्स को पार्क किया गया है और इनकी तादाद करीब आधा दर्जन के आसपास है। मेरे कैमरा पर्सन सुरेंद्र शाह अभी जो तस्वीरें आपको दिखाएंगे उसे देखने के बाद आप हैरान होने वाले हैं, क्योंकि हम शहर के बीच में हैं, रिहायशी इलाका है और यहाँ पर आपको टैंक्स दिखाई देंगे। मेरे कैमरा पर्सन सुरेंद्र शाह आपको दिखा रहे हैं और मेरे साथ जो मेरे ड्राइवर हैं यूनीफ, वो हमें इस इलाके में लेके आए हैं और हम धीरे धीरे बढ़ेंगे और आपको दिखाने की कोशिश करेंगे कि किस तरह से शहर के बीच में यहाँ पर टैंक्स पार्क किए जा रहे हैं। ये तस्वीरें देखिए, ये बहुत अहम तस्वीरें हो जाती हैं। शहर के बीच में ये हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं, यहाँ पर अब आपको टैंक्स दिखाई देंगे। तस्वीरें देखिएगा आप, मेरे कैमरा पर्सन सुरेंद्र शाह आपको दिखाएंगे। यहाँ पर शहर के बीच में टैंक्स पार्क किए गए हैं और बस ये देखिए, यहाँ पर पहला टैंक दिखाई दे रहा है। आईडीएफ जो फोर्सेज हैं, इजराइल डिफेंस फोर्सेज के लोग आपको दिखाई देंगे। ये तस्वीरें देखिए, यहाँ पर आप टैंक की तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं और यहाँ पर देखिए टैंक्स को लोड किया जा रहा है। शहर के बीचों बीच यहाँ पर टैंक्स की पार्किंग की गई है। ये हम आपको दिखा दें, ये शहर का रिहायशी इलाका है, शहर के बीच का इलाका है और ये देखिए हमारे सामने एक और टैंक इस बड़ी सी क्रेन पर लद कर जा रहा है। ये तस्वीरें देखिए, यहाँ पर जो आईडीएफ फोर्सेज हैं वो अपने टैंक्स को मूव कर रही हैं और पूरे शहर को बंकर में बदला जा रहा है। हजारों की तादाद में यहाँ पर आईडीएफ फोर्सेज डिप्लॉय की गई हैं और टैंक्स की तस्वीरें भी आपने देखी।
And that was my colleague Amit Singh's report from Israel. And remember, viewers, Israel has released a new video where it is shown that Hamas terrorists are using a kindergarten. They're not sparing children, and it's on camera. As per IDF's video that has been released, that they have used a kindergarten for keeping weapons. It has become a hideout for the Hamas terrorists, and you understand that there are a lot of calls for ceasefire, for the evacuation of civilians, for the old, for the children, for the women. But you do understand that how the terrorists of Hamas are taking shelter in hospitals and also in kindergartens now. So that's the big update that is coming in from Israel. IDF troops have found a huge cache of weapons, ammunition and explosive devices inside a kindergarten in Gaza. There you have that video. This is what the IDF has released. Hamas weapons have been found in a kindergarten. Those are the visuals on your screens right now. 2 sacks of ammunition, as per what the IDF personnel is saying in this video. It is telling us which weapon has been stored there. You can see all the ammunition that is present over there. My colleague Gursimran Singh, tracking all developments, is live with us from Gaza border. Gursimran, now there were, of course, a lot of suspicion, and there were many reports earlier about how the Hamas uses humans as shields and how it has made hideouts even in hospitals and mosques, and now we see they don't even spare the children. There is a whole weapons storage facility. The weaponry is stored in a kindergarten.
Yes, certainly, and that exposes that how Hamas is trying to use the human shield and how they are trying to use the areas that are the civilian areas as one of their hideouts, so that if the retaliatory strikes are carried out by the Israel Defense Forces, then they can cry on the international platform that the civilians are being targeted. And also during the raids that have been carried out by the Israel Defense Forces late last night, along with the huge cache of arms and ammunition, IEDs, grenades, they have also recovered the Arabic version of Hitler's biography Mein Kampf. So this shows that they were not only radicalizing them using the preachings and also, but also they were also teaching them what the Hitler was preaching. That is the way the people of Israel have survived the Holocaust, the first Holocaust. They were planning the other Holocaust and they were going on the ideology of Hitler. That is very evident because the Arabic version of Mein Kampf, the autobiography of Hitler, has also been recovered from the hideout that was very close to a residential area, inside a residential area perhaps it was. And also the recovery of grenades and IEDs from inside the residential areas clearly tells the story that how these terrorists of Hamas, they were trying to use that area as human shield, and when the Israeli forces will hit that place, they will go in the public domain and will say that, see, Israel is now targeting the civilian. This has been the modus operandi of the terrorists of Hamas, and now they are going deep inside the civilian areas. This was much known to the Israel Defense Forces, and that's why the aerial strikes were restricted only to the areas where there is no civilian population. Wherever there is civilian population, the Israel side is carrying out the ground operations. That is the specialized troops, those who have been trained to carry out the operations inside the civilian areas. They are being sent inside the houses, taking the risk of the collateral damage to ensure that there are no civilian loss of life and the terrorists of Hamas are neutralized at an earliest.
Right, of course, this is a video that actually exposes the Hamas terrorists, and this video is actually, we can see that the explosives have been laid out. But what is the latest update as far as the ground operations in Gaza is concerned, since you are reporting from Ground Zero? There have been also talks about the siege at the Al-Shifa hospital. But right now, we just saw how the Israeli Defense Forces are denying that there is no such siege by the Israeli Defense Forces. All that happened was an encounter near the hospital.
Yes, certainly. The Israel Defense Forces have denied that there is no siege in the Al-Shifa hospital. Rather, it was a plot of the terrorists of Hamas to give it a color of a siege. The Israel Defense Forces have confirmed that they are in touch with the staff of the Al-Shifa hospital, and they have made it amply clear that there will be no civilian casualties. Rather, they are ensuring that civilians, the patients who are inside the Al-Shifa hospital, they will be given a chance to get out of the hospital. On the request, there have been several numbers that have been put in place by the Israel Defense Forces. And also, there is nothing called siege because one of the areas, one of the roads that leads to the Al-Shifa hospital is wide open. The Israel side is only ensuring that the terrorists of Hamas don't get a chance to sneak out, and that's why there has been a cordon that has been put in place so as they can get into the basement. That is the hideout of the terrorists of Hamas that they are using to carry out the attack, and also planning the nefarious plots against the Israel Defense Forces. This has been wide open, that how mosques, kindergartens, schools, school bedrooms have been used as the one of their hideouts by the terrorists of Hamas, and now they are doing same with the Al-Shifa hospital. That is the basement of the Al-Shifa hospital, with various evidences that the Israel Defense Forces have provided. It is very evident that is being used as the operational base of the terrorists of Hamas, and now to get and neutralize these terrorists, they need to get to the Al-Shifa hospital. But for the civilian, for the patients who are inside the Al-Shifa hospital, the Israel Defense Forces have made it amply clear that they have a clear policy, that is, they will ensure that the civilians don't get harmed, and that's why the humanitarian pauses are also being given 4 hours a day, humanitarian pauses for the people of north of Gaza to get to the south of Gaza.